Hey everybody, Ripwo here, and today I'm bringing you an in-depth DPS monk guide. And whether or not you're a veteran player or someone that's looking to change classes, make sure to watch to the very end to see if monk is the right class for you. Without further ado, I guess let's just get started. All right, let's talk about Monk and how it plays. Monk has a very low barrier to entry. Mechanically, the abilities do exactly what they say they're going to do. They're very easy to understand and comprehend. The mobility and its playstyle feels very fluid as soon as you pick it up, and beginners essentially just get a lot of value as soon as they start playing the class. Even though Monk has a very low barrier to entry and it's very easy to understand, it really is a 5 out of 5 when it comes to difficulty mastering this class. Like any other assassin type class, you're talking about Tempest or DH, it takes a lot for you to be effective in any form or fashion in BG's period. It has a very high skill expression, and what that means is each monk that you play at high level has a different style and feels different and has a different cadence when it comes to how they execute their combos and whatever their game plan is. It's actually one of my favorite things to do in BGs is to duel each monk that's on the field to really learn their patterns and their behaviors so the next time I can figure out and kind of counter whatever it is that I'm expecting them to do. The other part of it is to be an effective and a very good monk, you really have to understand game tempo, positioning, and posturing. And those things we'll talk about later, but really it's just being able to control the game through the variables that you are most proficient at. All right, let's talk about burst potential. Unfortunately, we're a 4 out of 5. We don't have this raw glass cannon ability to kill tanks like Tempest do, but we do have the ability to rapidly burst consistently towards tanks and force them in a position to where if they make a mistake and they have to jump out of form, you do have an open opportunity to kill them. Honestly, when it comes to fights like that, I tend to avoid them mainly because it takes too much time and resources for you to actually get the kill. And if it's just say it's their first death, it'll take you actually more time to kill them than them dying from someone else and just respawning. So might as well just let it go. Where we really thrive is when we're fighting or dueling bruiser brawler classes like BK or Barbs, which are two of the tier 1 meta classes right now that are going around. You do really well against them in even groups of 2 or 3, and especially against other assassins where you can one shot each and every other assassin if you really understand both combos and how and when to utilize them, so you can start picking apart their team and ruining their game plan and moving forward with your own. Now let's talk about survivability. Survivability with a monk is a little odd. It is a 4 out of 5, but not for the reasons that you think it would be. We don't stack any armor. We strictly go armor pen and resistance. And the reason we can survive is because our abilities make us untargetable, and it allows us to maneuver fights and actually avoid damage. And also, the Mystic Strike, which is our dash ability, allows us to disengage fights whenever we want to on our own terms to either exit and heal, then engage on our own terms and force the opponent to play our game. And it really does survive through those types of movements and weaving in and out of the damage abilities and cooldowns of your opponents. We're hard to punish when played correctly, but to be honest, if you get caught with something ridiculous like the auto change from a barbarian or some kind of random knockup, or the one that's getting me right now is DH that plays strafe and volley randomly hits you and you get rooted. You're dead. There's no doubt about it. You're either getting your gladiator pulled, your savior proc, or you're just straight up dead. Well, now putting all that together, monks do require a lot. It requires a high level of awareness, a high level understanding of BG's maps and strategies to win. It does require a high level of understanding each and every class that's on your team and on other team, so you know exactly what your game plan is and what you're doing. It does require high movement precision, timing sensitive combat, and can be punished again really bad for bad decision making. It's still probably the most rewarding class. Once you figure out an assassin class, specifically in my instance, the monk, if you really figure it out from every aspect and angle, it is so rewarding to be able to manipulate the map and play the game on your terms. I love this class. It's my favorite class. It's not in a very good position. Honestly, like I said in my tier list, it's pretty bad playing a DPS monk, but it's fun as hell. I would recommend everyone try it at least once to figure it out for sure. All right, so let's just get into the build. The standard build that I'm running right now is this one right here. The legendary essences are going to be the shoulders will be Fron Wild, gives you crit when you dash with Mystic Strike. The pants, they make it so you're untargetable when you Mystic Strike in that distance from point A to B. Also, it empowers your primary attack to hit like a truck. The first offhand is going to be the Reticent Wind. It's the one that turns you invisible for 1.5 seconds. It's the one that was nerfed, but it's still really good. And it gives you the zoomies for 20% movement increase buff. The chest is going to be Ease and Clarity. It gives you and your allies 40% for 4 seconds. The first main hand is going to be at Peace. It basically turns your shields then to a burn or a flame that follows, and anyone that is burning, your crit is increased by 30%. The chest is going to be, or the helm is going to be Crippling Insight, just gives you another stack of Exploding Palm. The second offhand is going to be Trickle Palm. It's what turns your EP, your Exploding Palm. It causes you to be untargetable and teleport through your enemies and striking them. And the last main hand is going to be Cragmit. It turns your 7-sided strike into a dash, alternating the attacks between targets and nearby enemies. This is affected by primary attacks, also anything that buffs your primary attacks. So, for example, you do have stances, your defensive stance and your offensive stance. If you if you activate your offensive stance, you get 20% crit on your primary attacks, which does buff that ability. When it comes to the set pieces, we're running 2 Gloom, 4 Restitution and Blood, and 2 Vithus. The abilities are exactly what you expect. You're running Fist of Thunder, Mystic Strike, Exploding Palm, aka EP, 7-sided strike, which I'm going to start referring to as SSS, and Shield of Zen. The Gladiator is going to be your paragon of choice. You can choose different legendaries, but again, it's just depending on your gameplay. So for Gladiator, it's going to be obvious: Cheat Death, Grizzled Veteran, To the Victor, Uncontrollable, and Overpower. And I personally use Soul Harvester. One, because the defensive stance increases this by a ton. As someone that kills a lot of people and has a high KDA, I tend to utilize and use this shield as often as possible. If you don't or are not comfortable with relying on your ability to kill somebody, I would recommend you use Benefactor. It's a lot better, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot less for you to manage in your head. These are the legendaries that I'm currently running. When it comes to alternatives, there are rank 2s that are really good. You have Crimson Behelit, you have Mother's Lament. You can run Pain Clasp, which is just a flat damage increase because of all the continuous effects, specifically your Shield of Zen. This is the standard build of today. All right, this is the second variation of the same build that we just looked at. What I did make a change in is going to be the shoulders. I got rid of the crit Frondwald shoulders and put in the Dismal Travelers. You only want to run this build if you don't have enough crit for you to gain value from Frondwild. If your crit is too low, like you're not running Roiling Consequence or Mother's Lament, you actually will get more value and more damage from a straight up damage increase from your auto attack than hoping that you crit and not crit at all. So you replace the shoulders with these specific shoulders. When it comes to your sets, you're going to run 2 Vithus like always. Your 4-piece Restitution and Blood will only be a 2-piece, and you're going to run a 4-piece Gloom Guide. Okay? Only changes you make. So this is the last variation. This is a throwback to season 15. This was the original build for EP SSS from that season going into the early season 16. You go back to Califaction and replace Be at Peace, stick with Fron Wild, and you're good to go. Same sets, 2-piece Vithus, 4-piece Restitution and Blood, and 2-piece Gloom. If you have low crit, apply the same rule as we did on the meta build. Go 4-piece Gloom Guide, 2-piece Restitution. Replace the shoulders with the ones that explode when you auto attack, and keep califaction again if you are feeling a little bit squishy. I do recommend this for smaller players and people that are getting used to Monk and had freshly just transferred or changed classes over. All right, when it comes to my Reforges, I go this route. I do damage to shielded enemies, damage to enemies suffering lost control, damage to players, beneficial effect duration, and crit damage increase. And I do this instead of damage reduction from players because I'm a monk and I just avoid the damage, or I just play better, right? So very simple. This is what I think is the best. It's not DR'd in PvP, so you're going to get a lot of value out of all of this, minus the DR from crit hit damage. So going to the magic attributes, the ones you're going to aim for are going to be the SSS and EP. When it comes to Exploding Palm, I specifically do a 4 out of 4, which increases my chance to explode when damaging a bleeding enemy by 40%. I only go 3 out of 4 for SSS because it gives me the 45% because it's a 15% increase per, and it gives me a 45% chance to strike again during EP. Now that we've gone through, the easy stuff, I want to preface something before we move into the high level combos and do some VOD review. I like to preface that if you are a current monk player or looking to be a monk player, understand if you are not efficient at what you're supposed to do in a BG or in a PvP setting, it is likely you'll be more of a burden than you are an actual asset to the team. And what I mean is there's a lot of monks that are super high reso, super high AP, and super high KDA that don't understand how to build advantages. They know how to kill, and they are mechanically sound, and they're very powerful players on an individual level. So that really doesn't help the team. There are also players that are on the lower end of, armor penetration, reso, and resistance that understand their role. They just don't have the ability to execute it efficiently, so they also become a burden and not an asset to their team. If you're going to walk into this role and you're going to be one of those burdens and not assets, just understand the community will flame you. I'm not saying I'm personally going to do it, but there are a lot of toxic people out here that are going to flame you, laugh at you, and point at you because you're just not helpful. And the one thing I'll tell you is fuck them. Play the game you want to play. If you want to learn this class, you learn the class. If you want to play the class, you play the class. You play what you want. But if you're going to do that, just understand what comes with it. So that's all I got to say. Enjoy your time. This is your game. This is the way you want to play it. Fuck anyone that tells you otherwise. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Small disclaimer. If you're going to play Monk on mobile, it's going to be functioning at 70, maybe 80% if you have the finger dexterity. The problem is auto attacks are super important, and spamming two abilities simultaneously is super important, and it's really difficult to do on mobile. So I do recommend PC right now. All right, now get back to it. All right, we're here at the good part. We're here to teach you how to do damage and how to be an insane monk. It is not as simple as it was when Exploding Palm was your only damage ability, and 7-Side Strike was just a buff that shot Invisi Ninjas around you. Okay, your auto attack is part of every single one of your combos, and it's really going to be your main execute and be the nail in the coffin towards basically anyone you want to kill. You're going to open up with a Shield of Zen. You're going to Mystic Strike to activate your enhanced auto attack. Then you're going to go into a EP, spam 7-Sided Strike plus auto attack at the same time. So all that damage can snapshot and happen at the same time. And once EP or a 7-Side Strike is done, you're going to spam EP again, right? And this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to Shield of Zen, Mystic Strike, EP, 7-side strike, auto attack, 7-side strike, jump out. And you, yeah, on the dummy, it's around 2.5, 2.6 million. It's a lot of damage. That's going to be your first combo to master. That is a full commit. You know and you understand your limitations and that this person is going to die. You're either going to grab Gladiator, Savior, or Kill. That's why you use it. All right, we're here. So this clip is going to be me doing combo number 1 against Honos. Honos is a satyr. He's 13k rezo, and the guy has like 2,000 more armor than I have armor pen. But if you know how to do damage, and you can utilize all your procs, and you can single them out and build all your advantages, you can basically one-shot everyone. Minus druids. Druids are disgusting. But with that being said, shout out to the boy Honos. Fuck you for dancing on me. We're going to watch it regular speed, and we'll go slow motion. Combo EP, then go into another one, boom. And if he hadn't pressed, if you look right there, if he hadn't pressed his Cole, well, I guess it doesn't matter because you, right there, guaranteed Savior's procced. That was a full combo, boom, explosion, 13k rezo, just ate that up. So we'll go back in slow motion. Remember, we preset this up, reduce the speed, quarter speed. So right now we have our procs for our damage in the top left. We're gonna Mystic Strike for Invis. Get the, if you look right here, the enhanced auto attack. We're gonna go EP into 7-side strike, spam auto, and it's gonna use it. Watch. EP 7-side strike, auto's gonna proc before it's done. Then you EP again, and look, 735k health to 1. Boom, Savior's proc instantly. On a big dude. So that's one of the examples that I have. All right, so here's the second clip of combo number 1. This is towards a player. His name's Ezrith. He's an OG. The guy's a giga whale, and he's one of the best players in the world, actually. This, again, the players that I'm using examples for, I'm not calling out. I'm only using them because they have crazy high stats. They are playing tank classes and or have a lot of armor, just to show you that even at a disadvantage, you can do damage and be effective if you know how to use your abilities correctly. Okay? So, preface, Ezrith is playing a BK, and BKs are notoriously weak if they're by themselves and they're fighting a monk. So again, I'm building my advantages. Mystic Strike, come from Invis, isolation, he's a BK. He is, I think right now he's currently healing, so he's at like 95% health, but you could see at like 13k rezo or 12k rezo, he has probably 2,000 plus more armor than I have armor pen. You can still do damage. That's all I want to tell you. Like, even if you're kind of weak as a player, if you know how to use your abilities and stack your advantages, you need to do that. You need to help yourself win. So I'll play it at full speed. And this one is 1 EP only. Full combo, boom, all basically dead. So now I can chase him. Look at that. I only had 1 EP available. Again, I didn't have the resource, but I understand and know my class and know my advantages. I know when I can be effective. I know when I can kill, and that just comes from years of playing the class and honestly getting my shit kicked in and experimenting. The secondary combo is if you don't have 7-sided strike, just say you just used it. This one requires finessing, and it does require timing, because if you don't time it correctly, you literally do 0 damage. It will not register your EP, and you will do 0 damage. The trick is you want to activate Shield of Zen, Mystic Strike to activate your auto attack. Then you want to use the teleport from your first auto from Fist of Thunder. Then when that damage registers, or you hear the sound indicator, you immediately want to hit Exploding Palm and do it back to back if you can. And this is what it'll look like. So this, that sound, and you double EP, and it's going to be around 2.1 to 2.3 million like you just saw. I use that also if someone's coming at a gladiator. It has this weird interaction. Again, this one takes a lot of practice because I failed this plenty of times. When someone, right when they res at a gladiator and you enhance auto attack into double EP, all that damage gets snapshotted and it instantly happens. And they just flop over and die. And it happens so fast, they can't react. And I'll show you a couple clips of that. All right, so this is my first clip. This is against Emmy. She is a huge whale. I think she can run up like 30k armor. Right now she's a Tempest. I don't know if she's running mad armor, but this is just an example of the secondary combo with auto attack and just EP. So we'll run it at regular speed, then right here. Boom. So what happened was enhance the auto with Mystic Strike. I auto to her, let my enhance auto proc, waited to hear the sound, then pressed EP. The reason I approached specifically Emmy with that ability, one, because as a Tempest, she can blink out, and I wanted to use my second EP to follow her and force her to use her first full charge of Breaker and maybe her second. And if I 7-sided strike, if she breakers that, the likelihood of her avoiding all that damage is really, really, really high. And I don't want that to happen. So we're going to rewatch that clip at quarter speed and we'll go again. So this is a terrible place to start. Let me get over here. Oh, damn it. Okay. So red dot in the center. Seems isolated. Easy target. Everything's procced already. Gonna Mystic Strike for Invis to catch off guard. Look, auto attack. Wait for it to go off. Then hit her with the EP. And all that damage, do you see that? All that damage instantly just happens and it snapshots. If you mistime that, none of that damage happens. That's why the secondary combo is really, really strong. And it allows you to hold on to resources. Like I said, I still have an EP to connect. I still have a 7-sided strike to connect. Right? So I still have a lot of damage to do and abilities to also avoid her damage. Okay? So that's why that second combo is really useful. And this is why when you BG, you start to get to know players, understand their mannerisms, their patterns, and you try to figure out how to break them. And in the same turn, they're trying to do the same to you as well. All right, this is combo number 2. This is out of Gladiator, and this is actually one of the best times to do it and practice this combo. But again, like I said, it's all timing and understanding the class, because if you fuck up the timing, you do 0 damage, not a ton of damage, just 0. And in this case, I'm comfortable enough to do it every single time, and especially against a player like Mur, which is one of the best Tempests, if not the best Tempest out there, in this Windwalk spec or variation of his build. If I fuck this up, he's gonna kill me. So let's watch it at regular speed, then slow down. So he's gonna come in here. I'm gonna combo him into 7-side strike, boom. Then watch this. Wait, auto, boom, auto, EP, all happened instantly. And mind you, when you res, you're at like 50% health. And let's slow it down. Let's go back and see all that damage happen instantly. So 25%, boom. Yield red. Okay, so my 7-side strike. So I'll get my auto ready. Enhance auto. After I Mystic Strike, auto attack, right timing, boom. All the damage, look at that. Stacked. 123, 123, 90 something. All that instantly happened. And there's no world where he's able to react to that and he's just dead. And you can do that literally to everybody. So both combos are really important. You must get them down. Those are two different bursts used for two totally different reasons. Okay? The combo 1 I use as my opener all the time to pull everything that I can. If I know it's a big dude and I have my Mystic Strikes to get away and reset and re-engage later, that's when I use that. The secondary opener with your auto attack and EP only, that one is very, very specific. Again, if I don't have 7-sided strike, I open with that. That's my burst opener, my combo 2. All right, everybody, I have given you every tidbit that I could possibly give you and taught you what I could teach you about Monk that matters in PvP. Now it really comes down to building your game IQ, which is learning to implement what you've learned in BGs to help your team win, to build advantages, and to get better. So practice makes perfect. Don't get frustrated. Keep going. Like I said, fuck everybody else. Play your own game. We'll end this with if you like this and found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll end it with some good gameplay. See you guys later. Bye.